The following broadcast may contain explicit language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the hosts, talent, and guests, and do not reflect the opinions, views, and standards of Pyro Media Enterprises, affiliates, subsidiaries, or its members.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. How about that? Happy Friday. Oh, I'm so glad it's Friday. Um, yeah, I'm glad it's Friday. This has been a really tough week for me. It really has. I have to admit it and be honest about it, because I always want to be honest with you, my audience. It's not a good thing to ever portray that you have everything all together when you don't. And whereas I don't ever want to portray that I have it all together, sometimes I'm not as open about when it's really not together at all. And so this past week, probably the past couple weeks, maybe a month, it hasn't been all together for me. I really have been struggling with some things, and I'm really working on getting those things together. And so today's show, I'm going to be all selfish, okay? Today's show is for me. It's for me. It's for me. It's for me. Um, I'm going to talk to myself, and if you guys want to join in and chime in and have something to say or receive something from it, go right ahead. But today it really is for me. So, first, I want to start with our mantra, of course. We definitely always want to start with that because I just believe that it's just good to just kind of ground yourself and just take some time out to just bring it all in and get focused. So, let me get started with that. Of course, we know that this particular show on Friday morning is just like an ode to it's the end of the week. It's Friday. It's time to start moving into our weekend. If Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is your weekend, with some cleansing breaths and just to say and speak to ourselves some things that I feel are important for us to know. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we just want to take some deep breaths because I need to take some deep breaths. Okay, remember, this is all about me today. So let's start. Let's take a deep breath. In through the nose one more time. And let's just do it one more time, okay? And we're just blowing all the frustration and all the depression, if you experience some, all the stress and the strain and just whatever it was you experienced this week. Let's just blow it all out. And so we can just kind of get going with our weekend and have a good weekend. I have so much to do on this weekend. I am pretty busy this weekend, so I want to go in with a clear head. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get started with the mantra, okay? Because what I want you to know is that it is okay for you to not know everything, okay? It's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to be yourself. It's okay for you to have some bad days. It's okay for you to ask for help. It's okay for you to start over, to set boundaries. This is probably one of my favorite ones here. It's okay for you to be less than perfect. Who is? Not me, certainly. It's okay for you to do what's best for you. Sometimes you just have to do what's best for you. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to not be okay. Okay, so this week I was not okay. For a few weeks, I have not been okay. And it's okay, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Now, I'm not going to stop moving. Okay, I may have to slow some things down, but I'm not going to stop moving altogether. So it's okay. What else? I want you to know, these are some things I want you to know. And I'm talking to myself. It's okay. Or what I want you to know is that you're loved. You are worthy. Your feelings are valid. Say it again. Your feelings are valid. And I wear this t-shirt and it says, girl, you are enough. So, girl, boy, whoever you are enough. You are enough. Yeah, you're enough. So, let me get started today because I really want to have enough time to really talk about this topic, teaching people how to treat you. So important. Um, so important that you teach people how to treat you, that you really demonstrate to people that you have certain standards about yourself. Um, and those standards about yourself, that you have for yourself, if you want to be in relationship with me, friend, coworker, um, romantic relationship, parental, whatever the case may be, that there's a certain way that I should accept people to treat me. And then there's another way that I should not accept. So there's a quote. We're going to go ahead and put that quote up. It says, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. I'm going to say it again. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. That's Tony Gaskin's quote. And I was looking at that. I was like, wow. The biggest thing about that is it's really about what we allow people to do to us, what we allow people to say to us, how we allow people to treat us. It really is about that. We can go ahead and take that down. Teaching people how to treat you is really about setting really good boundaries for yourself. Okay. I was good and grown before I learned how to set really good boundaries for me. For me. I don't know if I've said this before on my show, but I used to be a person who didn't speak up for herself. I think I was more like a person who was like in the heat of the battle, like when when it was really going down, I could like go there, but just every day, um, making sure that I was speaking up for me and sharing what my thoughts and my feelings were. I wasn't doing that. And therefore, when you don't do that, then sometimes you don't create really good boundaries for yourself as it relates to other people, because a boundary is really, really honestly just where you stop and another person begins. And that little area right there, that's a boundary. And sometimes people cross those boundaries, and it could be very damaging to you as a person. Also, I want to say that, as well as setting boundaries for yourself, also like defining what your expectations are. Yeah, defining what your expectations are as it relates to how you and another person relate to each other. Um, What are your expectations? Do you even know what your expectations are for other people who relate to you? And that's something that we all should really figure out. What do I really expect from people? Sometimes we know what we don't want from people, but sometimes we don't really know what we expect from them. And so we have to go inside ourselves and look inside and do some retrospection inside of us to say, okay, Kim, or whomever you are, this is what you need and this is what you expect. And then when you do that, then you start speaking it out loud. So then you start speaking up for yourself. Now, that's something too that I really never did. And honestly, I'll even say, not that I don't speak up for myself, but sometimes in certain situations, I don't. And I think sometimes it comes from a couple places. Probably one is not wanting to hurt people, not wanting to hurt their feelings, not wanting them to feel bad. Um, and then just feeling like, you want to be so loyal and dedicated that you just take the L. Well, look here. Sometimes I'm tired of taking the L on somebody else's behalf. Because when you say, I don't want to speak up for myself because I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, well, you indeed are hurting someone else's feelings, yourself, because you are not speaking on your behalf. You're not walking and staying within that boundary and requesting and requiring other people to do the same. Yeah, this is also very true. So speaking up for yourself, and then this is probably one of the harder ones for most of us, is leaving situations and people that are just completely unacceptable. I'm just going to sit here for a second and let that one just, whew, Selah. Sometimes you have to build up the confidence to just walk away. Now, don't walk away from this live today saying, okay, Kim, Pastor Kim, co-pastor, whoever, told me to leave my significant other, that I need to get up out of there. She told me to just walk away from my job. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody has to make a decision on what that means for them. But there comes a point in time when, if you're not being heard, your expectations are not being met, and the boundaries are always being crossed, I mean, like just crossed, then it's time for you to kick rocks. Maybe it's time for you to make some changes. Maybe it's time for you to leave a situation or leave a person so that you can demonstrate love for yourself. Who wants to stay in relationships or situations where you're not being thought of, your feelings and thoughts are not being thought of, you're not being considered, all of that? Who wants to be in those kind of situations? I know I don't. My husband was going to join me today, and something came up, so he couldn't. But we were having a conversation about this, and it was just like, wow, this is so important. And I was telling him how the last time we were scheduled to have our show, I didn't have the show. And this was the topic that I was going to talk about. But I was telling him yesterday, I said, but I had to get here. Yeah, it's cool. We can have all the knowledge in the world of certain things, and we can know about it. From a knowledge standpoint, we can read about it, and all of that. But sometimes we have to know in the way of experiencing. And I had to get here today to be able to talk about this, speaking up for yourself and teaching people how to treat you. Um, Teaching people how you want to be treated starts with you. And so, in the past couple weeks or so, I had to make some decisions about me, for me. Um, and so that's where I am with that. So let's go on. Oh, we had a comment. My dad told me when I was younger that it's better to understand than to know. Experience is everything. And when I tell you, woo, experience is the best teacher. Now, in some regards, if we can listen and learn from others who have experienced certain things that maybe we don't want to experience, that we don't need to experience, unnecessary to experience, because we can go by the wisdom of others, or we can look at somebody else's experience and go, yeah, I don't think I want to do that, or I don't want to be, in that position. That's good. But he's right. Sometimes having the knowledge of something is one thing, but the experience of it, that is such a teacher. Those are lessons that you never forget. Those are lessons that carry you throughout the rest of your life, because now you've experienced that thing and you're no longer afraid to walk forward. So it starts with you. Teaching people how to treat you starts with you. Mm-hmm. It does. It starts right here. It starts right inside of me. I have to love me enough and want what's best for me enough to say, this is not good. I don't like the way I'm being treated. I don't like the way this feels. I really need you to do it differently. Or I need you to understand or have more respect, or, acknowledge me. It starts with you. It starts with you, what you think about yourself, how much you love yourself. Do you love yourself enough to speak on your behalf? Think about this. Sometimes we have no problem speaking up for others. We are warriors. When it comes to somebody else, oh, and don't let it be your kids. Don't let it be your children. Mama bear will, honey, she will be unleashed and you won't even know from which way she is coming. But let it be about you. And sometimes we dumb ourselves down, or sometimes we don't speak out and speak up. What do you think about that? To teach people how to treat you, like I said, it doesn't begin with them, because that's an unrealistic expectation. It's an unrealistic expectation for me to think that people know what I need if I don't say it. How can someone know? Like my husband, I wish he was here because this was part of our conversation, but how can I expect him to know what my needs are if I'm not saying what they are? If I'm not being clear, not just saying what they are, but being clear about what they are, being clear on what I need what I need from other people. Okay. I have to have self-respect. Mm-hmm. Love me enough. And I have to recognize that I'm going to say this really loud. I deserve to be treated with the request that I give, or I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated with, given the same loyalties and respects and honor and all of that. The same thing I'm giving out, I deserve that back. Now, do you always get it the same way? No. And you don't even always get it from the same direction. Let's be clear on that. However, There comes a time in your life where when what you're getting or receiving from people is not working for you, then it's time for you to talk. It's time for you to speak up, to say what's going on. Okay. Let me put this other quote up. This is so important right here. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. That's a mouthful right there. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. And I think we've been saying it. It's just being said a different way. You can take it down. Be careful what you tolerate. Be careful of what you keep letting people say to you. Be careful of how you keep allowing people to treat you. Be careful of what you keep accepting from people. Be careful of that. Because even though it doesn't seem like it's really that important, you are actually teaching them how to treat you. You're saying to them, oh, you don't want to give me 100%. It's okay. I don't deserve 100%, or I don't need 100%. And that's not the truth. When we tolerate less than what the expectation is, we're teaching people that we don't need that. We don't need it. And so now we have to think about it differently. Now I have to think about it differently. I have to stop and say, no, you do need 100%, and you do deserve 100%. So let me see. People learn how to treat you based on what you accept, and they watch how you treat yourself. Do I devalue myself? Do I devalue what I bring to the table? Oh my God. Do I devalue what I bring to the table? I think we probably need to go to a commercial because I really want to dig into that one. So we'll go to a commercial.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station. Well, look who showed up.
So we're still talking about teaching people how to treat you. Okay. We are responsible for teaching people how to treat us. And we talked about it starts with us. It starts with us. I'll just ask my husband just quickly because, we've been having this conversation. What does that mean to you, teaching people how to treat you?
Whew. I was listening to you before I came in studio. And wow, I really was doing some reflecting because I believe it's ingrained in me because my mother was pretty much, God's not going to ask, how other people treated you, but how did you treat them? What was your response? And it was always being a bigger person, letting other people get away with things, letting things go. And I really developed that in my life. And it really has come back to haunt me or challenge me. Not that it's a bad thing, but I think it's a when to and a how to. I think sometimes we take biblical principles and we run them across everything in the spectrum. It's like, no, this scripture pertains to this. And he said this because this was a situation. But don't allow people just to run you over and just, he clean out the temple because people were doing the wrong things. So now he wasn't always meek and humble Jesus, with a halo around his head. He got upset too. Simon Peter and people like that. So I just think that we have to learn how to set boundaries. You talk about boundaries a lot, perimeters, and if something did offend you, speak up. Say it. Even our own relationship. I will hold back a lot of things, and you be like, babe, what's going on? Well, I felt this way. How long? A couple of years. Why you didn't say anything?
Right.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. Well, I'm really hurt now.
Right.
Like it became more of a compound thing, because I wasn't speaking up. I hate to see you cry. Well, I'm a big girl. I cry. I'll get over it, but let's talk about this. Let's get out in the open. So in a personal way, it kind of, hit home with us too.
That's good. I think you really covered most of everything we have been talking about. And I just put this
that tolerate part. That was good.
Yeah, that quote, that quote took me out.
That tolerate part, because we came up with this thing, and actually I heard from Bishop Trotter years ago. I'm gonna go and I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And I actually had to live that. I went to support a friend in a service he was having on Elevation. I've been at Elevation for several years. When I got there, I was treated like not that bishop title means that I'm supposed to be da-da-da-da, but at the same time, don't treat me like I'm a laity walking in. I was just treated really bad. I really was. I walked out and I went to my church. My church had a 6 p.m. service. I'm going where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. I just made up my mind. And since that day, I've been walking in there. But before that, you were even telling me, this person's kind of sketchy. They kind of treat you funny. They kind of treat you funny style. It's like, oh, no, babe, no. But you're like, okay. You'll get it, and I got it. That day I got it.
You got it. You really got it.
That day I got it.
But let me read the definition. I want to read the definition of tolerate. Okay. I'm going to read a couple. Allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something that one does not necessarily like or agree with without interference. Then the second one is accept or endure someone or something unpleasant or disliked with forbearance. So basically, what the quote says, be careful of what you accept or endure that's unpleasant, that you don't like, because you're teaching people how to treat you. You're teaching people that it's okay. Okay, so I'm empowering everybody today. Okay,
receive.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that devalue. Okay, because also when we think about that, I want to read that definition too. And the question was, do I devalue myself? Do I devalue what I bring to the table? Okay. So while I'm tolerating, what people are serving me, am I at the same time devaluing myself? Am I devaluing what I bring to the table? So devalue is reduce or underestimate the worth or importance of, to reduce or underestimate the worth or importance of.
Wow.
So I think what we are doing, maybe unconsciously, when we are accepting and tolerating things, accepting the way people treat us, is we are devaluing ourselves. We are reducing, we are underestimating our worth and what we bring to the table. Do I deprive myself? You know, do I not get the things that I need? Just making sure everybody else is okay. And I'm not talking about in a way like mothering, taking care of your family and taking care of people that you love or whatever. But I'm talking about in situations where we are not being respected or our boundaries are being crossed. And then at the same time, I'm depriving myself of things that I need. I need respect. I need to know that I am valued. I need to know that I am loved. I need to know that I am important. I need to know that I'm being heard. You know, all of that I'm valuable. Am I depriving myself of that when I'm just tolerating what other people just give me? Do we just have to take it? You know, we had in our women's ministry, I'm just checking the time, we had a ministry called My Girlfriend's Closet. Mm-hmm. And, you know, our theme was that we collect gently used clothing, gently worn, used clothing. And it was amazing to me how people would bring things that were not gently used, okay, but had holes and rips, had zippers that didn't work, missing buttons, dirty, stained. They were not valuing what we were doing. They were just getting rid of some junk, you know? And so when I thought about it, I said, no, we will not accept this. We will not accept that type of stuff. And so what the ladies and I would do is we would get together and we would purge all of the donations. We would purge because think about it. If we would make this beautiful, clothing boutique is what we created. And if I started hanging up items that were stained, the zippers didn't work, didn't have buttons, were stinky, what am I saying to the women who were coming to get the items? I'm saying to them that you're not valuable enough to get things that are just gently used, that someone may have used, or new, something brand new. I'm saying to that person that you don't deserve it. You're not valuable enough. And so when we allow people, when we tolerate things, then that means we are devaluing ourselves. We have to have more value in us. Remember what I said, I have to love me enough to speak up on my own behalf and say what I need. And let me say this too. If you are dealing with a situation or someone who you feel like, you're not being heard, you're not being valued, and that they're not treating you the best way that they could, and you speak up for yourself and you say, this is not acceptable for me. I value our relationship, but this is not acceptable for me. And that person says, oh, well, I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. Do you really need that relationship? Seriously. Do you really need to be in relationship with that person or that thing, that entity, when you're not valued? So think about that. And then think about, what do I deserve? So just like I was talking about, with Girlfriend's Closet, I felt, and the other ladies that worked with me felt, that these ladies deserved beautiful items. And I would always say, don't give me anything that you would not wear yourself. And so I wanted those ladies to know that they deserved nice things, that they deserved beautiful things, clean things, in good repair. Okay. So let me say this. When we are, teaching people how to treat us, we need to communicate clearly. Communicate clearly. So, and see here, and this is what we do sometimes. Okay. So rather than letting it all pile up, and then, we're pissed, we're angry, we're mad. Now we going off. Now we screaming, we hollering, we acting a whole fool. Or we check out. I'm out. Just
flight.
Checking out mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Or we become dramatic. We're dramatic, we're crying, we got all this stuff going on. Or we become passive aggressive. Okay. So sometimes when we are not enjoying how we're being treated, and so instead of being clear, instead of communicating, saying, hey, this is what I need, we get into those other things. So it's good to be clear and understandable, and don't mince your words. You may even have to practice it in the mirror. Talk to yourself and tell yourself what you need, so that you can be used to hearing it, and you can, say it again to someone else. So let's see, we're almost running out of time, but I want to say this too. So it's important to be clear. It's important to not mince our words. It's important for us to be understandable, because if we're pouting, or we're acting desperate, or we even start abusing people ourselves, with our attitude or behavior, then they still don't learn how to treat you. All they hear or see is your behavior. And I think sometimes we expect people to get inside our own heads and know what we need when we're not saying it.
They weren't in that conversation.
They were not. How many times have I had a conversation in my head, and then I go step in front of him, and I'm like, you know what's wrong. Ladies, we can be guilty of that. Your husband says, well, what's wrong? Don't act like you don't know what's wrong. Well, that's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair.
Truly not fair.
It's not fair to do that. All he sees is my pouting or my attitude, or all he hears is my screaming, or he sees my passive aggressiveness, and I'm still not getting what I need. I'm telling you, we have to be the teacher, because you're not going to get what you need if you don't tell people and teach them, demonstrate to them, before them, how you need to be treated. Speak up for yourself. Say what it is you need, and be direct, be clear, be understandable. And then this is important too, because I believe in this. I believe in modeling behavior. Okay. I believe in modeling behavior. I want to be the person to you that I need you to be to me. Now, you may not have the same needs I have, but I at least want to be fair with you. I can't expect you to give me what I need, and then I'm like, okay, I'm satisfied now, but I'm not returning the favor. Right. What do you think about that?
Well, I think we really learned that, love languages, apologetic, how apologize, fighting for whatever, Gary Chapman stuff. But giving the person what they need and how they need it is important too. Right. Because we accept apologies totally different. Yeah. Somebody say, I'm sorry, I'm good with it. My wife's like, about what? About what? What do you mean? Yeah. How sorry are you? It's like you go to degrees of it, which is just a different way of communication, but that's what she needs. So I gotta be willing to give it to her. Right. And sometimes in my frustration, I don't. And then she feels devalued. So I'm like, it ain't that important. I'm sorry. Black and white. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm done. No, we got to go deeper into this, So it's, anyway, that part. Yeah.
So we're gonna close out here. We're gonna end here because it's time for the show to be over. But at the end of the day, after all of that, and you're teaching people, you're setting boundaries and you're demonstrating to them, you're letting them know that, you need to be valued, you need to be heard, all of that. When people do that, reward them. Reward them. Let them know that they are doing a good job, and let them know that, I appreciate you hearing me, and I appreciate, you putting in the effort to make this better. Let them know that. Okay. Tell them thank you. Say thank you. So you guys, you know what? We teach them how to treat us, and we have to be better teachers.
Wow.
I'm taking an oath to be a better teacher.
Wow.
And I may lose some relationships because of it, but it's not going to be because of me, because I don't plan to go in being mean and harsh and, passive aggressive about it. I just need to be direct and open and clear.
Let's be clear.
And loving at the same time, loving about it. Okay. And so you all teach people how to treat you. Teach them. Be a demonstration of that. Okay. You all, till the next time, you all take care and you stay safe. We love you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Pyro Media Network's YouTube channel for more awesome content. Plus, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or upload new videos. Visit pyromedianetwork.com today, not just to check out our incredible roster of talented creatives, but also to gain access to exclusive bonus material available only to our Pyro fam. Show your support for this Black-owned indie network by donating today. Help us keep igniting brands everywhere.